Welcome back, New Jersey football fans, to the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show here at Studio B with my guy, Tim McEnany. Coach,
Trib.
let's go ahead right now. Let's talk about your Hoosiers.
You want to get out the Hoosiers right now?
I want you to,
I'm not going to
big weekend for you.
I'm not going to it was a great weekend. I'm not going to McAfee it and take off my shirt. I'm not going to rub it in too much, but it was a very. I was pleasantly surprised on the defensive side of the ball by the Hoosiers.
Good defense, man. Excellent. Right?
Look, everybody knows I'm a Hoosier fan, but I just thought Ohio State had too many weapons with Tate and Smith. I still think Smith might be the best player in the universe.
Yeah.
Of all college football. But it was a great football game. The difference was the experience of quarterback in Mendoza. And you talk about being able to spin it and make throws.
Well, I think the difference was a kid miss a chip shot field goal and also 4th and 1 missing the. Now, defense stands tall in 4th and 1. Not getting the 4th and 1 says, well, let's kick it here. You kick it here, and the kid for the second consecutive year misses a less than 30.
Yes.
And
if you're right, like the Ryan Day distractors are like, so in the third quarter, why don't they kick there instead of go for the quarterback sneak for the tie there? Make it a 13-13 game. And then when you have a 3rd and 2 on the 10-yard line, why don't you just they're running the ball well. If you're Ohio State, why don't you run the ball down low and get a first down, go in, and don't forget to kick to tie the game, score, make it 17-13 and win the game, Rod? No? I mean, I'm sitting there happy as the Indiana fan, but I'm hitting Freddie going, what's going on here? What are they doing? And shocking that Ohio State didn't score any points in the second half.
Yeah.
But both defenses are lights out. Would not be shocked to see them play each other again. If you follow the bracketology in this thing, Ohio State does have that lower bracket is some, having to play Georgia, probably down there again to get to the finals and all that. So anyway, it was a great weekend.
It's a great weekend, and not the only game where you say, if you got in the red zone, maybe you run it. I don't know. We're not going to get into all that. But I will say this. Right from the top, there's a couple of things I want to mention here. And hello, Brad and Chris. And thank you all for joining us. And thank everybody who's joined us through the year. I know we didn't go last week due to the state final. We had the Group 2 state finals on Wednesday at Rutgers. We're going to talk about all 5 of our state finals in the Publix. 5 for 5, incredible season for South Jersey, and one that, one way or another will be in the record books,
It's South Jersey football. Look, we've known down here, we talk about it week in and week out. We've made jokes of the old Newark Star Ledger, only used to back in the day put in so many South Jersey teams. And look, if you the highest ranked public school team in NJ.com's rankings is Winslow. Yeah. I mean, besides all the, the Bergens, the St. Peters, and the Boscos up there and doing what they do. But, man, South Jersey football is – I mean, I got a chance to hit some playoff games.
Yeah, you did.
It was so fun to watch. I mean, being at Township, being at Cedar Creek, watching Mainland play, of course, watching Kingsway play, Camden High. I mean, just seeing these teams, they're well coached, great football players. And I don't even mean the kids that are going to go on and play. I mean, there's kids that are going to play on Saturdays. Heck, there's going to be a couple going to play on some Sundays too.
Yeah.
But even the kids that might not even play in college are very good high school football players. So it's fun to watch.
Yeah.
And it's awesome that the recognition, and not only get the recognition, because we do rankings, and there's these all-star teams, and they're all picked by this, that, and the other. But you know what? When you go and you win and you beat the team on the field, you know what?
To the victor goes the spoils, right?
Exactly. And, South Jersey 5 for 5.
And, also, Mac, not only at this level, of course, we talk about the guys who we see in the NFL, LaQuinn Allen, Bayshall Tootin, Ezraku, Marquise Bell, Elijah Clark, Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
On and on and on.
Keep going. Yeah.
Joe Flacco, right?
Right.
And then you look at college, and not just in the major ranks, but you look at what Kutztown is doing in their playoffs. They're on a good run. Susquehanna has South Jersey flavor. They're on a run in D2. You also have major college ball. Latsir Brooks, of course, we talk about playing for Bama. A lot of big-time kids. And the best of our best. We had the Touchdown Club banquet on Monday night for the All-South Jersey. And a coach told me, I want all my parents to come to this banquet next year. And I'm like, why? And he says, so they can see what D1 looks like.
Right.
When you see these kids walk in and they're sitting there and you're like,
right,
okay, and my kid D1,
well, it's funny. I've coached at some different places, and one of the places I coached, a parent said to me one time, like, Coach, you always talk about some of the higher academic, smaller Division III schools for a lot of our kids, and I'm like, okay, and they're like, and they're like, why don't you talk to them about like a Penn State? I'm like, or a Boston College, and to your point, Trip, I go, Mrs. So-and-so, have you ever been to a Penn? Have you watched a Penn State football game from the ground? Right. One, I said, do me a favor. Her son was a junior. I said, and to her credit, I said, why don't you go out to the Penn State camp next summer? They have one.
Yeah.
They have a prospect camp. Let me know. You drive out there 5 hours, beautiful campus. Take a look. She comes back. This is 25 years ago. Calls me up. She goes, Coach, I apologize.
Yeah.
She goes, I'm on the field with Penn State recruits with my son, and he was a good player. Not a Penn State player,
right,
because he was a lineman, but he wasn't 6'6", 290 who could dunk and play football. He was a good player. So to your point, to that coach's point, there's a difference between you could be a really good high school football, great high school football player, but then, then that being that just a metric thing. Yeah. I mean, I can name 5 high school football players right now that none of them were above 5'10", and they were, the Doobies of the world who went to Dickinson from Eastern, right? Your boy from Williamstown, back in the day, used to run down on kickoffs. Deloria. I'm sure I'm messing up his name. These guys were Michael Galida. These guys were 5'10", but they were animals. So that's the beauty of high school football. You don't got to be 6'3", 6'4", right, the metrics for go Division I. But when it comes time to recruiting, moms, dads, wingspan matters.
It matters.
Height matters.
I just thought that, and we're going to break down each one of the 5 public state finals, and we want to give a shout out too to the North Jersey non-pubs for their championships. Of course, you got St. Joe Montvale, our buddy Lamar Best, quarterbacks them to #1 ranking in the state, beating Don Bosco in their revenge game, and then DePaul and their great quarterback Zamet, who's headed to Washington, I believe. Congratulations on your non-public B championship. Big wins, 2 of the best teams, of course, St. Joe Montvale, the #1 team in the state, and with good reason. That was a heck of a game, a thriller against Don Bosco at MetLife on Black Friday. But, Mac, in terms of the South Jersey games in the public state finals, we thought, well, the 2 teams you kind of had etched in from the start, and teams are wondering, could that game get out of hand, was Glassboro and Winslow. And those were the 2 closest games by point spread in the 5 finals. Of course, in Group 2, Camden High beat Shabazz. You had Washington Township in Group 5, rolling Passaic Tech. And, who could forget about Cedar Creek, the engine that, came in their last couple games as maybe underdogs to some, and showed that they really hit their stride at the right point. So we'll talk about all those games and those teams, as this is the game to truly give them their flowers here on the final show of the season, the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. We will say farewell at the end of the show. I'm gonna read out the award winners we had at Touchdown Club Banquet at the end, and also we'll do our final best 11 rankings at the end, which I know we take a pause on that for the playoffs. Some of you guys are in here commenting, and as always, we appreciate it. It means the world to us. So
Jason wants another game.
Jason wants another game. Who does he want?
He wants
Glassboro Winslow. I think we'll see how things open up at the beginning of the season
No,
next year. I'm not saying Glassboro and Winslow, but I've heard some things.
Yeah.
There could be some interesting matchups. Of course, we're going to have Battle at the Beach to start off the year. It seems like on a day like today, we're pretty far from those hot August days.
But there's no Tournament of Champions, Jason, with the football.
No, there's not.
No Tournament of Champions.
A South Jersey Tournament of Champions would have been nice.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, now we're getting
a little greedy.
Yeah, getting greedy. But there's the Battle of the Beach next year for the going into it, and a lot of good teams, a lot of good champions, and cool that we can recap put a bow on it, as they say.
We always put a bow on it this final show. So stay tuned, guys. We're going to break down the state finals. Sit tight. We'll be back with the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show right after this. The West Jersey Football Coaches Association was established to promote, improve, and unite football in South Jersey. In less than 4 years, the association created the Battle at the Beach and has dedicated itself to helping others. The association has donated close to $100,000 to date to provide scholarships through the National Football Foundation and the Touchdown Club of Southern New Jersey. The group has also donated to the charity Philly Faces, which helps those in need of facial reconstruction surgery. Thank you to the West Jersey Football Coaches Association for their sponsorship of the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show is also sponsored by Capstone Medical Services, a dedicated team of experienced healthcare professionals with a strong presence at the youth, middle school, high school, collegiate, and post-collegiate levels. They specialize in athletic training services and sports medicine for youth, high school, collegiate, and adult sports, event EMT and paramedic coverage for events and gatherings of all types and sizes, ensuring everyone's safety, injury prevention and workplace injury programs for commercial and industrial organizations, American Red Cross training, ideal for coaches, youth group leaders, church organizations, businesses of all sizes, and school districts. At Capstone, they are committed to delivering exceptional medical services that exceed expectations. No team will work harder or more passionately for you or your athletes. They proudly serve athletes of all ages, schools, businesses, and event organizers, ensuring the health and safety of every individual in every setting. Whether on the field, at work, or during special events, Capstone's here to protect, support, and serve because your safety is our top priority. To learn how Capstone Medical Services can support your school, organization, or event, call 855-EVENT-CMS or visit capstonemedicalservices.com. The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show is also sponsored by SRA Home Products. South Jersey, let me tell you about my friends over at SRA Home Products. SRA has been building sunrooms, pergolas, and patio covers for over 25 years. They've built more than 9,000 projects in the Delaware Valley alone. And I've had the opportunity to be around Mike Fody, the owner, and I have nothing but the best things to say about Mike and his crew. SRA is a gold-accredited member of the Better Business Bureau under the elite provider status with Home Advisor, and they've racked up a number of Best of South Jersey awards in the past. They also contribute to multiple sport associations and are huge supporters of Williamstown football. Find them online at srahomeproducts.com.
Enthusiastic about football? Become a part of the NJFOA South Football Association and team up with us to officiate high school football. Join us on the field. Our cadet class kicks off in March. Register on our website or by scanning the QR code in this ad. Put the stripes on and join us on the gridiron today.
Welcome back, everybody, to the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. Mark Tribble, Coach Tim McEnany, and Rod Self. I want to give a couple of shout-outs here before we get into the state finals. First, thank you to all the sponsors that have helped make the show possible during the season. None more important than the West Jersey Football Coaches Association, the presenting sponsor of the show. They've been around for a few years, dedicated themselves to improve, unite football in South Jersey. They've done just that. We mentioned the Battle at the Beach. That's going to be a big event. And yes, to someone's comment in the chat, I think it was Hector, have out-of-state teams been looking to get in that Battle of the Beach every year? Out-of-state teams, North Jersey teams, South Jersey teams, everybody wants in the event. It's a big deal. Due to that event, the West Jersey Football Coaches Association has donated more than $100,000 to charities, including the 501(c)(3)s like Touchdown Club of Southern New Jersey. So thank you, and thank you guys for being the presenting sponsor of the show. Also, shout out to Dave O'Sullivan, founder of South Jersey Glory Days. You're watching this on Facebook. You're watching on his page. He gives us this platform. D2 Sports Network, of course, Rod's YouTube channel. If you're watching there, be sure to visit his website. And all the sponsors, you got Capstone Medical, you got the officials, and guys, if you need to sign up to be an official, you're interested in it, they are going to have trainings in February. Ashley Franchini.
Knots of the week with the
SRA
Franchinis.
Home Products.
Great Pergolas.
Great Pergolas. Everybody, thank you for your support and sponsorship of the show. Now, state finals, Mac, let's go ahead and start this thing out we'll do it in chronological order and how it went down. So you had Black Friday at MetLife Stadium, Washington Township in Group 5 against PCTI, Passaic Tech. Passaic Tech's third trip to the state final. They lost their first two to Toms River North, who'd won all the Group 5 state titles, all three of them before this year. A game where Township really shot themselves in the foot a couple of times. The game 6-3 in the middle of the third quarter. A big swing, you think. Washington Township gets an interception on a deflection. The next play, they fumble it back to the Bulldogs, and you think, maybe it's just not their day. No, defense gets a stop. They get the ball back. Jalen Robinson goes to work. He ends up with 6 carries, 122 yards, and 3 touchdowns. PCTI averaged 217 rush yards per game coming into the matchup. They had 77 in the game. Defensively, they were great. They win this thing 31-12 to cap an undefeated season, 14-0. First state championship, third undefeated season in school history. Mac, we saw Washington Township a lot this year, and they were mighty impressive again in the state championship.
Good. I mean, they were fun to watch. A full not only guys that were fantastic football players, but a full team effort. Special teams, blocking kicks, and then Mr. Robinson just gets it done. Like his in the playoffs, his yards per carry had to be close to 15 per carry, which is crazy. Both sides of the ball, linebacker as well. So Township, look, you might just have to turn to Mike Kerner on the sideline and go, Mike, is this the best team ever to Township? He was on those undefeated teams back in the day. So, that's pizza shop debatability down in Township. I'll let them handle it.
You got that right.
Right. So, but this team was, by every sense of the, they were a team, right? These are kids that, I got a chance to see them play when they were in 7th and 8th grade together. Them winning a championship 4 years ago. That's cool stuff, right? These guys, a lot of them played with each other since 5-6 years old. So being able to go out undefeated, Group 5 in a state championship, good for them. And a very selfless team too.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, not caring who does what, but they got a lot of guys who can do what is needed.
Yeah, I think it's a reflection of Coach Schatzman. It's a reflection of their staff. Also, I know over the years we've talked, even since back before we could see this coming, when you knew you sensed something different in the air there by the attendance and the way they had things kind of the cannon and things, and you sense like this looks the part of something that can mature into something. And now I
sounded old, didn't I? I came back.
I
said, look, Township's looking like it used to look like.
Yeah, you did. They beat Shawnee that night. It was an upset. And you said, there's something different here. It's coming together. That was a signature win at that point for Coach Schatzman and company. And that was probably, I'd say, 6 years ago now, Mac, 5 or 6 years ago. But we talk about how the community came together. It was easy to talk about that when you go to their games, and they have so many students in the student section. They have the band, and they have it was packed house, right? But You really saw it at MetLife. I think you would agree, Rod, because the whole town came to that game. I mean, people. There's frequently people who watch these games on the streams and say, "Well, it's an empty stadium. They got to play someone." Well, the people who are there, I've never been to these games and say, "Man, this stadium feels empty." The people that are there are loud.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of people. The kids and the coaches don't complain about it.
Because you can't when you're there. It's also they're in the road.
Yeah.
Everything they're down on field
They're
level.
down on field level.
Yeah.
But I think if the people that have these observations actually went to the games, they would see it's different than how it looks on TV. But
Definitely.
Either way, Rod, don't you agree? Washington Township had a ton of people at that game.
Man. Yeah, their side was full for what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, we got to think it's NFL stadiums and college stadiums. And the way that they're shooting, just to give people perspective, they're shooting from one side to the other.
Yeah.
So as you're playing, you're only seeing the far sideline where there's no people.
Yeah.
So that's why it feels like it's nobody there. But Township was packed. Even my cousin came out. His one of his best friend's son is Ethan. No, number 11.
Binder. Yep.
So I'm bad with names, but I wind up running into one of my cousins there. It was that many people there. Like I didn't expect to see him there, but it was a really great game, and Township lived up to the hype.
And Township, at some point in this game, like I said, it's 6-3 midway through the third quarter. They threatened to have a running clock in this game. That's how quickly they just put it on them.
Well, we saw that against Kingsway. I mean, with when you can sorry to snap like that too, but you got 80-yard run and boom, when you got Cole Keno and you got the weapons you have, and you have the leadership that we've talked about. It was. I'll go back to that Kingsway game. Both sidelines. I don't use the word professional because there's emotion there, but it's very like coaching. Bad things happen in football games, right? Like
definitely.
Not bad, but like sometimes you fumble, sometimes there's a penalty, and the staffs that you see that there's not like that. Sky is falling. When there's a touchdown, even on a kickoff return, first play of the game, right? Something happens, and you could just see the focus of Township staff, of course, and Kingsway in that well played game, and then now get to these finals, and to your point, starting slow, but like, hey,
composed.
Yeah, we're
been here before.
And
senior leadership,
not cocky, but just this is a 48-minute game, and we got things are gonna get done, and we'll figure it out.
I think you see that with great teams that the great teams know the precedent and the standard that they have to uphold to win is their own. Right. It doesn't have to do with the opponent or necessarily the score. It's, guys, let's just play our game. Eventually we'll win out if you're that good. And I give a shout out here. I mean, we have somebody in the chat, I forget who said this is definitely the best Washington Township team. And Kerner did mention that to me in the past. It was Todd Moore said that. He said, if they run the table here, they are the best. I mean, they have to be. So I would agree with that. They were just so balanced, and they were a true definition of a team. I think Jalen Robinson, who got the hat, his third of his career, certainly in the playoffs was the highlight player, right? He made the plays on defense. He had 12 carries in the last 2 games, and 6 of them were touchdowns. 12. He was unbelievable.
Yeah, he was.
But as a team, and we talked about it all year, they passed the baton on whose night was it to be the guy. Was it Aquino? Was it Pratt? Was it Robinson? Was it Osborne? Was it Beeler? Was it Jair Moore? Was it? But there was always somebody else because they were really that balanced and that talented, and they played together so well. They were excellent.
Let's not forget their offense and their offensive line, right?
Yeah.
So as you mentioned, the skills and the Q, that you got guys up front that are taking care of business.
Yeah, Davidson.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, they were awesome. Palaganis defensively.
Yep. And when you have Wechter, when you have guys that are controlling the line of scrimmage and both sides of the ball, I mean, it's almost like now it's like, I don't know. It sounds vogue now to say build a team inside out. I mean, look at everything's the NFL's getting a little more smash mouthy, right? Like you have to be able to control the ball, run the ball. Man, old guys are sounding young again. I don't know.
Definitely.
I just noticed that a lot of the coaches are going to what their district is giving them as far as players and different things like that. Yeah, it is definitely getting back to the smash mouth football, but this is what we grew up on. I know for me and many others behind me, Township has been a smash mouth, dominant, physical football team. Like we don't look at them as, we know they're not running a wing T, but they used to run a power. Like they used, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no doubt.
So they're kind of back to that of old.
Right.
And they did an excellent job, too, of identifying the games where you're stacking the box, throw it over the top. And they had the guys to do that. Mike McGarry says 18,573 fans at MetLife that Friday, a record of attendance for New Jersey State title games at MetLife.
That's great. That's fantastic.
I will say this, like, no matter what anyone could say about how the attendance looks or feels to them, again, I just want to say the people who are participating in the games, the kids that earned a chance to be there, their families, the coaches, there's nobody there who's complaining about how many empty seats there are. So those are the people that the game is for, is the people who are playing in it. They're the ones that get excited to go sit in a pro locker room where a couple of days ago a pro team was there, and now they're in there.
For sure.
Visually, it isn't, it's just never going to be a great visual representation.
Look, we had a great. I'm dating now. I'm back. When I was at Cross, we were there in 7 and 8, and it was a great experience at Rutgers. And we had the 10 a.m. game, right? Yeah. So, to your point, the people that are there because they're supporting the kids that are playing there. The kids that are playing there are high school kids, whether it be Met or Rutgers. They're enjoying the environment, the atmosphere. And the host venues do a good job. Now, so it's a good deal for the kids, for everybody.
So Washington Township gets it done, and the next game at MetLife on Friday was Cedar Creek and Old Tappan. Old Tappan comes in undefeated. They beat Mainland in the state championship the year before. We'd seen them beat Delsea in the state championship a few years before. Third state championship trip for Old Tappan. Hadn't really played a close game, put up a lot of big numbers, but Cedar Creek is the only one of these 5 winners I think you could say kind of Cinderella run. I mean, the seeding doesn't match that, but they lost that season finale to Ocean City in overtime, a game that I think opened eyes to people. Said, that's not great sign, right? We expect them to take care of that business. It woke them up.
Yeah.
They go in the playoffs. They beat Mainland on that incredible last-minute pass from Frenchman Bethea to Gian King. Then they go to Homedale, and they outscore Homedale, and Bethea has an incredible game, almost 400-some yards of offense, 2 interceptions. And you're thinking, man, they just keep hitting on blackjack, right? Yeah. So here we go, state championship. And in this game, early on, 0-0 after the first quarter, and after that of Cedar Creek all the way. They win 34-7. Amir Dunbar caps his illustrious college career. He's going to Maine next year. 22 carries, 117, 2 touchdowns. Frenchman Bethea runs for 1, has a great interception. Jameer Canfield, him and King each had an interception and a touchdown. And Mac, I got to say, Jameer Canfield, who's going to Bryant, he put himself on the map in that championship as if he weren't already, because he was the best player on the field, in my opinion. And he also had an incredible touchdown run that got called back, maybe questionable call. But he was unreal.
He's dynamic. When I saw him at the Mainland game, he jumps off the page. or off the screen or however you're watching it. He's a dude. And Bryant's getting a steal with him.
Yep. I was just going to say it.
Big time.
They're getting a steal.
Yeah, yeah, interesting. So he's going to see a field quick, often. Interesting that this game was the biggest score disparity. And if you would have said to me going into it, who has the least amount of chance out of the 5, the least amount of chance out of the 5 to win the states, maybe you would have said Creek. You would have said, hey, I think Winslow's going to do it. I think Glassboro's going to do it again. They're going to repeat. Township probably should. I had to say should, and like Camden, and you'd probably say Creek's probably the one that might not. And they go and they're the most dominant performance of the weekend.
They were awesome. And
to your point, like they were clicking, they were gelling. Momentum's a real thing.
Yeah.
And and they look back and you say they're probably at their bank of going, we didn't want to lose to Ocean City, but sometimes it's good to get your eyes open.
They really clicked. They just meshed together so well. And when you looked at what they had, not only defensively too, with Justice Payton and what he does at linebacker. I mean, in that game, they had 3 sacks, 3 interceptions, and they had the kickoff return for touchdown King had. They had these guys that really, in Dunbar, Campfield, King, and Bethea, who came out and just took over the playoffs. I mean, they took it over. Beating Mainland, great team, great program. Beating them the way that they did, overcoming that last field goal, that 41 yards, it ties the game. Everybody's thinking overtime. Nope, Cedar Creek takes it the next play. Going to Homedale, winning that game on the road. And then the championship just throttling. I mean, Matt Best wants to know who they have to beat to get their props. I don't know how many more props they need to get. I mean, they're state champs, and they handled it every step of the way.
Yeah, they did.
Coach Melody, another excellent season for him. A North Jersey guy who has thrived at Cedar Creek. And on top of all this, Bo Melton caught a touchdown pass on Sunday.
That's not bad. Not bad for the Cedar Creek community.
It was a good time for the Creek Freaks, man. I mean, they really
weapons,
they were just incredibly
weapons. Frenchman, just Bethea. Like I said, when I was watching the game with you, and then I saw Campfield. What happened is Dunbar got hurt.
That's right.
And they put Campfield in the backfield, and
I think to that point, Mac, what stands out about him is, in Jameer, is no matter where he was when he touched the ball, it was electric every time. You line him up in the backfield, it was electric.
Yeah.
He catches the ball, intercepts it, whatever. If he's near the ball, something big time was going to happen.
Hit the mic by mistake. But I think one of the things that can be said about Campfield, even King, those guys on the outside, if you look at Cedar Creek, right? Mm-hmm. The quarterback position was played by Frenchman Bethea, right? He probably would be in the argument for the best receiver on that team as well.
Yeah, no,
and
he's
going to Stony Brook to play receiver. Yeah,
you get what I'm saying. So it's like he isn't necessarily a true quarterback. He did enough, but with those guys playing on the outside with a true type quarterback, you may have seen them explode even more.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like you got to see flashes because
Bethea was that athlete who they said, "Yo, you're going to play quarterback for us."
Right.
Because probably Campfield could play a little bit himself too.
Exactly.
And they're like, "Well, let's say Bethea's going to do it. We'll just," and he took a liking, but he's not a typical quarterback. Correct.
Right? So now you don't really get to see the super flashes like you get to see from some of the other guys who are, playing with guys who are traditionally playing quarterback, and that's all they do. You know what I'm saying? So with Cedar Creek as a team all year, they never had a really, I don't want to say that word, a really attractive win. Like it wasn't one that you were like, man, they just put up 40 on Ocean City. You know what I'm saying? They were those games where you kind of felt that they should win. It still was kind of a one score or
sure.
And even games where they scored a lot, AC and Spirit, they gave up a lot. And that's what stood out to me in the championship is they got there And now they won the state semifinal 48-38 at Homedale in a track meet. And Cannon's a great player, right? The quarterback at Homedale is going to Dartmouth. State championship. Cedar Creek looked like the 86 Bears.
Yeah, no,
I mean, you're thinking, well, what's the point? They gave up one touchdown, and that was, I mean, the game at that point, in my opinion, felt like it was pretty much done. I mean, they came out and defensively got after it. Bethea's interception was huge, and that came on a play where it's one-on-one down the sideline and throw it, and he did not break a sweat on it. And I'm like, I wouldn't throw anywhere near that guy after what he's been doing. He was excellent.
But then where
they were just excellent.
But then where do you throw, right?
You don't.
Their perimeter.
You just
forfeit. Their perimeter
look about the same as
their perimeter dudes are unreal. That was the question when we were at the Mainland game. We're like, can their front seven, travel through the playoffs? That right? Can they stop a run? Can they stop the Cannon kid?
Yeah.
Right? Can they and what they ended up doing there is outscoring the Cat. They outscored Homedale.
Right.
They outscored Homedale and they just went in and kicked old Tappin's.
That was probably the most dominant win of the day.
Yeah.
And we were questioning, people were like, man, going into it, it was thinking, can they pull it off? And they went in there and they straight up dominated that game. It was never a point I thought it was in question.
Well, when you make plays like they did at Mainland, you start. We've seen these runs. I've been on the good side of them. I've been on the bad side of them. But when you're on the good side of them, you're at games where you're like, man, we're not losing. Like there's ticks on the clock. We still got a shot, right? Like we're not losing.
Well, and just to remind everyone too, not only did they put up 48 at Homedale, but that game is 30-14. Homedale's winning in, I think, the second quarter. So that's one where, I mean, not only did they win the way that they did, they came back with authority. And on the road, they really had championship mettle. Of course, the Group 3 state champs, Cedar Creek Pirates. Let's talk about Sunday, Mac. Let's start with Glassboro. They entered the game with a 26-game win streak. They really were not challenged at all this year. Against Cedar Grove, it was a rematch at last year's state final in Group 1, which Glassboro won that game 56-14. This year they won 29-14, 27 in a row for the Bulldogs. They really, another one where I think the game was in hand throughout, but Jack O'Connell at quarterback, 9 of 12, 117, 2 touchdowns. JoJo Delise, 12 carries, 139 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Amari Saab, really, 4 receptions, 86 yards, 2 touchdowns. One of those was a shovel pass, counts as a reception, but he did all the work. I mean, spin move around, scores. He also had an interception on defense in the end zone. The Glassboro defense had a great game as always. Their second consecutive state championship. And what I will remember about this Glassboro team, which was flat out dominant, and some wondered if they would set the record for most shutouts. I think they had 8. They didn't get the record, was 9 in a season. But on the year, Mac, cumulatively, they gave up negative rushing yards.
That's pretty good.
That's saying you stop the run, you'll win. What if you stop it so much no one ever gets positive yardage?
No one gets a yard on you. Yeah, I mean, look, I look at these teams, the Glassboro game and the Winslow game, in the orders, and they were the closest games. And speaking to Glassboro, were they so good that they just got, I don't want to use, dare I say, bored. Like, not, it's just when they've just methodically been just dismantling teams for 2 years now, through 27 straight. I forget their last loss, and it was 3 years ago, but
it was in the state final.
Right.
Against Mountain Lakes.
Yeah, so my point is they've won a state, they lost a state, they've lost one game in 3 years pretty much. I mean, and it's been in a state final when these guys were sophomores. So these kids are like, Yeah, we
Yeah.
lost in the state finals, sophomores. We won it as juniors. We won as, we were the prohibitive favorite. Like last year, we were talking about them winning states again. But saying that's a tough mantle to carry too. Like when that's the expectation mantle. Winslow had it. We saw the tough one against Brick Memorial. Cedar, Glassboro had it. So having to carry that the expectation burden, that's tough to do too, especially for kids. And teaching kids or reminding kids how to play free. Yeah. Mentally free. You're not, even though it's a lot of the talent from the previous year, every team has a life in itself. So unbelievable. Coach Breaker and his guys, just dudes everywhere, making plays. Negative rushing is insane. Everything's 3rd and 12.
They also outgained their opponents. So opponent yards total was, I think, 400 some less than Glassboro penalty yards on the season.
There's some front.
This is one of those in stats where it's like trivia questions. Like, when's the last time a team you think, well, that didn't happen? No, Glassboro did it. They were so good, Mac, and the last touchdown that got scored, you remember that, Rod?
Mm-hmm.
By Cedar Grove was an interception by Xavier Sabb. The receiver for Cedar Grove blindsided him, right? Tackled him.
Yeah.
Big hit. The ball popped out. It ended up squirting in the end zone. They scored. It wasn't like they moved the ball down on them.
No.
And I will give Cedar Grove a lot of credit because they played a lot better than they did last year in this game. They played a lot tighter, and I think and I'll tell you what, man, their quarterback, I give a lot of my hats off to him because my man got crushed. The whole game, and he kept getting back up. And a couple times, he had to go to the sideline for a play.
Is that in the game?
I don't think so. He had to go to the sideline in the play, and he would still come back out the next play and give it a go again.
On the ground a lot. Look, pound for pound, Glassboro might be like an all-time team, like in South Jersey, pound for pound.
For sure, they're up
there.
Yeah,
and I'm saying, people like, again, I'm an old head here, and I'm talking Group 4 football back. You can even go back to the Camden High days of the '70s. Like I'm talking like teams that you put in that Mount Rushmore of like they might be the best Group 1 team.
Well, I'll go back to what I said at the beginning about the banquet on Monday night. Some of the biggest kids at the banquet were from Glassboro.
Yeah.
They've. It's not just that they're a really good Group 1 team, which we've seen a lot of.
They're a good.
They're a big physical team.
Yeah.
That has a lot of talent, and
we said
played like it.
Right. We say
from
that.
The start.
This is when the North Jersey folks might tune in or watch us a little bit. We're like, watch these guys get off the bus. This isn't your grandfather's Group 1 team or your father's Group 1
No,
team.
and when Cedar Grove gets to the point in that game where they have to drop back and pass to move down the field, and Simmons is just it's time, it's party in the backfield time, So
not good.
Glassboro, congratulations, dogs. 14-0, 27 consecutive wins for Coach Breaker. Amari Sabb goes out a winner. Gets the hat. Now the hats, I'd say giving away the hats, I will definitely do that again next year in the state finals. That was pretty cool. I got pictures from the whole week of people saying like, this kid's wore the hat to school today. That I saw someone with it on at the banquet.
It's like the Stanley Cup. They're traveling with it all, but they don't have to return it.
Yeah, exactly. They get to keep it. But my personal favorite was Jalen Robinson's dad, who says, when he scored that third touchdown, I think it was, or maybe it's just. With Jalen, there's so many touchdowns for Jalen Robinson. It's hard to keep track.
But he only has 12 touches, so it's not like you have to keep track of how many touches either.
Exactly, and I think it was the second one, and I kind of saw him. I said, I think he's going to get the hat. And he says, yeah. I said, you get to take it home. He goes, oh, I know. There's already a spot for it in our trophy case.
Yeah.
Right.
That's confidence and well-deserved, man. I mean, he was unreal. You want to go 4-2? You want to go through it? Let's go through it.
What else are you going to do?
Let's go through it. Group 4.
Right.
Now, Glassboro back-to-back state champ. The other team that was looking for back-to-back state championship was Winslow. The Eagles got it done again. 12-2 on the year. They lost to IMG and Bergen Catholic, but to public schools, no one threatened them. 34-21, they beat Ramapo, finishes 11-2. Jalen Parker, 12 of 25, 240 yards and 2 touchdowns. Had a great rushing touchdown. Trucked the guy at the goal line to get in. Quade Hendricks, 5 catches, 165 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pivotal kickoff return for touchdown. Nakeem Powell scored. The Winslow defense had 5 sacks. They were swarming throughout their second consecutive state championship, as I mentioned. This really was the closest game of any of the games. I think in the third quarter, Ramapo took the lead. I think they did. And then Winslow put a couple touchdowns together to put this away. Defense for Winslow. You know, Winslow in this game faced a lot of I'd say they were in situations where you thought, man, they just can't quite, have a big play and something would happen, there's a flag, or you're just like, it just doesn't seem to be going their way today. They had some big plays. Hendricks with the 88-yard touchdown catch, and Jalen Parker sets the state record for most touchdown passes in his career with 107.
As a junior.
Hendricks has the big kickoff return, but in between the big plays, it was like, this is still a fight. This is still a good game. And Ramapo with Grosser at quarterback, they kept hammering along. Eventually, too much Winslow, as it has been all year, Rod.
Yeah, it was the little things that they were doing that were kind of throwing everything off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
That they normally get. The catches on the sideline, the pass here, like they were dropping passes. They were just off a little bit. But one thing Winslow has as an ace is the explosive plays.
Yeah.
And they were able to get it from Quade. I mean, he was huge. He was the guy that day. Winslow, very similar to like you guys spoke about Washington Township, having different guys that can step up. I mean, we've seen Maddox step up. We've seen Powell. We've seen Quade. We've seen, stop naming them. It's too many of them. I'm just thinking about it. It's too many to name. The defense, like they've had those type of games where guys had to step up, make plays, and they were able to do that. Quade was the man, over 200 total yards.
Yeah. Well,
it was phenomenal.
He averaged 30 yards a catch, and he's I was going to say human first down, but he's a human couple first downs. He's a human touchdown. Like, it's like, to your point,
his best catch wasn't even a touchdown.
It wasn't.
Right.
It wasn't. It was on the sideline.
Well, to your point, Rod, I mean, you just, you need a big play. You need a splash play. You need explosive. There he is. It's a, whether that's a long pass by Jalen or it's a, catch after, run after catch. He makes things happen. And then they got all those other guys. It's not right. It's like, okay, then they got this. They got a lot. And they can run the ball too. Like it's not like you can just drop 8 and, hopefully get there, get home or whatever. You pick your poison. They've shown it all year. Dominant both sides of the ball. I mean.
Yeah, and I thought there's a couple plays that really stood out to me from that game that showed what Winslow was about in that moment. And I remember the Parker run for a touchdown. Him scrambling around or run up the middle and just trucking that guy to get in the end zone. And Parker's not the tallest kid. We know how tough he is, but that was a championship play that, I'm not going to dive. I'm going through you.
Sure.
And we're going to take this thing home.
Yeah.
The other thing that stood out to me, too, is Philip Hatfield. He's been stellar for them. He's been a captain, 62, baby Kelsey, right? The center, long snapper. There was a lot of cramping up front for Winslow in that game, and there was pivotal moments where somebody's like, Phil, go in. Well, he doesn't play D-line. He went in, and not only did he go in, he got tackled for loss.
Right.
he's like, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
State championship. I don't know how many snaps he had on defense in the year. I would guess just what we saw in the state championship. But
Football player.
all hands on deck. Exactly. Football player.
Football player.
All hands on deck. Let's win this thing. And, of course, Christarfin, Matthews, and Benji Carter. And Benji Carter's another one where, okay, well, now we need you to play linebacker this play. We got a cramp or somebody's out.
Right.
So what does he do?
Right. I think
Football player.
Yeah, football player, but I think it tells you all you need to know about the fact that you have a center that
Yeah.
can play on the defensive side of the ball
Mhm.
who's not playing on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
Right? So you talk about good makes good. Think about how they practice,
Exactly. Yeah.
right? Like you got you got good versus good
Mm-hmm.
a lot. And
Yeah.
good versus good, you get better. So, and to your point, or you're saying at that point, all hands on deck. You've seen some of the things like we all know in those games. It's that running back who normally doesn't play corner might play corner. That quarterback who doesn't play D back might play D back.
Yeah.
Time and a place.
Last year, and I don't mean this as a slight to anybody, but last year, leaving MetLife and Rutgers after seeing the state finals, and last year we had 2 state champions, Glassboro and Winslow.
Correct.
Mainland lost.
Right.
Toms River North won in 5, and Rumson won in 2. But leaving those Group 1 and Group 4 games and looking at what you could eyeball, you can never be too sure. What you could eyeball would be the returning players on the teams. You walked out of there saying, Glassboro and Winslow will win these games. They'll hoist these trophies again next year.
Certainly.
I mean, they got a season to play. It's up to them, whatever. You never can. But as a reporter, I'm going to tell you this right now. They're going to be back here, and they're going to win it. Until somebody does something Herculean to stop them, and nobody did anything Herculean to stop them. They were back, and they won it. I mean, so not only getting back and winning, but like you said, Mac, getting back and winning when everybody expects you to get back and win. Right from the second the clock hits triple zeros,
Yeah.
it's like, well, all right, we'll see you back here next year.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right. And then they're back there next year.
And
Like,
they-
hey, man, good to see you.
And they both win it.
Yeah.
And they both win it.
The final state final that we had was Group 2. Rod's alma mater, Camden High.
Wednesday night.
Wednesday night against Shabazz. This was a game, Rod, where it was kind of in the doldrums early on. Now, wasn't a lot of action. Camden was carrying play. Had a couple mistakes, I think, that kind of kept him off the scoreboard. But the guy who came through and made the play that broke everything is Talib Shakur, who intercepts a pass. He diagnosed the play perfectly. He comes from the safety position, sees the play developing, jumps in front of the running back, grabs the ball. It takes it 54 yards for a touchdown. A pick 6. His 4th interception of the season. All 4 of them he ran back for touchdowns. So he's economy player. I mean, when he gets it, he makes sure he knows what to do with it.
Correct.
Very smart player.
Very smart.
Committed to go to Cornell.
Colgate.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
Colgate. So
Yep.
that just gets to tell you how he sees the game and thinks the game. But that was the spark that Camden needed.
Yep.
And
100%.
oftentimes in games like that, I can speak for, being a guy from Camden and basketball. We go to the championships and certain things happen. You're waiting for something to happen in your favor, because a lot of times it doesn't go in our favor, right? Just from a fan's perspective.
Yeah.
So the magnitude of that play was so big, I don't even think he realized how big it was in everybody there. And I turned to Mark and I said that he's probably the player of the game.
Yeah.
At that moment, because it was just like it took the monkey off of everybody.
It's so key. Yeah.
It was
Everyone
huge.
could just breathe.
Yep.
and play their game after that.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what they did. Ahmad Jones, 11 of 19, 112 yards and 2 touchdowns. Roman Duckett, 16 carries, 93 yards and a touchdown. The defense on the day finishes with 4 picks. Jaden Steele had 2. Scott Freeman had 1. And that pick 6, of course, by Shakur. They win this game 27-8. They were so much bigger up front than Shabazz. I mean, you could say, you know, you hear a lot of these teams are kind of mirror images in terms of style and the athletes and these guys that are out front, out on the sides and whatever. And that was true. But as soon as those things were not, you know, inaccurate, what the thing was, immediately, the first time they came out on the field, I'm like, nothing against this, whoever the D tackle or D line is for Shabazz, but he's half the size of the guy he's going to go against all night.
Yeah, when you're
and I'll tell you what, if Camden High wanted to run the ball 50 times in that game, they could have done it. They didn't have to throw the ball one time. They still would have won the game with the same amount of points.
That's crazy, right? You look, Camden High is, you know, Group 1, or Group 1's Glassboro, Group 2's the High, and you're like, you give that side eye, like, they got dudes 50 pounds, they're giving up on the other side. Shabazz is giving up 50 pounds on the offense-defensive line. Yeah. A guy. So to your point, if they did, and they can, and if they needed, they could do both.
Well, they actually did. They got back to it. They got away from it, and then they got back to it. I mean, Roman Duckett was out there just doing whatever he wanted to do. Right. And then when you bring in Braxton, it was like thunder and lightning. Like Braxton will reel off a 20-yard run or a 15-yard. Like they really showed what they can do. And, you know, I got to give a hats off, you know, to Coach Matt Perry as well. Yeah. It's a tough job in Camden being an offensive coordinator. Sure. This is probably the 4th or 5th coordinator in the last couple of years, you know, so it's a tough job, but he weathered the storm and he was able to adjust to the players as well as the players adjusting to him a little bit. And what he was able to do in that game was just, I mean, they did what they wanted to do. Yeah, to be honest.
Dominant win.
Very dominant.
Coach Hinson got the ice bath. Got to give a shout out to him. He did a great job. Like you said, Perry, a couple guys that I watched come along with some of the younger guys through the years, and Coach Day and Troy Still and George, younger guys who have made an impact there as well. It was just a great night for Camden High, and they enjoyed it. The band enjoyed it. Everybody had a blast, right? It was a great way to cap the season.
Yeah. Everybody on the Camden High side.
Speaking of the band, I got to say this. Shout out to Jamal Dickerson. He's the band director. Coach, every time I see him, he talks about the clip when you were talking about Camden's band when they played against Shawnee. Oh, yeah. So he says, man, I watch that all the time. That was great. So I just thought about it when Mark said something. They really appreciate that. That's just, you know.
Well, that's what makes what makes high school football. I mean, you know, and when you know, we talk about in the beginning of the season, right? And with the cheerleaders and administrations and, you know, and having that band, other schools have bands, but no band is Camden High. And I tell you, and I'll say it again, if you go to a Camden High game, win or lose, stay and watch them leave the stadium and watch them play all the way back to the school. It's worth the trip. It's worth the price. Yeah. I grew up on that stuff, so I've got to see it more than I can count. But it is, I said to my wife, I said, isn't this the best? We just sat in our car. She's like, I'm like, every time. It's the best.
It never fails. Nope. And you know, I thought of something when you were talking about that, the pressure of Camden High and the ghosts of the past in some big games. There was one time I had to cover a state championship basketball game they lost. And I remember the reporter I was with said, you know, pulled me aside after the game ended. And he said, you know, there's kind of an unwritten rule with covering high school sports. And that is, if a team loses, you're covering a team, like if I was covering Lenape and you were playing somebody from out of area, now I got to talk to you after the game. I got to write about your team. don't talk about what you did wrong.
Right.
They're kids.
Yeah.
And you kind of, there's a certain nuance to it where you have to understand that there are kids involved. It's high school sports. It's not Joe fumbled the ball at the 5 and they lost because, right? Not like the kicker at Ohio State is getting a free ride who I called out earlier.
He out of here.
But
He's gone.
But after that game, he pulls me aside. He says, most times, how we do that? He says, yeah. He goes, you can write this how it was because that's how the Camden fans want to read it. I mean, they know, and the kids know. Everybody knows. Okay, you don't have to mince any words, right?
Right.
And that's how it is, right? There's no, the fans will tell the kids how it is. Everybody will say, like, you guys blew it or whatever. So that's the reality. And you're right, Rod. That tension of we're dominating this game so far, but we haven't been able to declare it yet.
Right.
And he took the weight right off the back, and you thought, from here on out, it'll be smooth sailing.
Listen, that's the way we were raised.
Yeah.
Playing for the Centerville Simbas, and then you go on and play at Camden High, or you go on and play then Woodrow Wilson. Even with the Camden City League youth program they created, and you had your different teams. They would travel out to Whitman Parks or your Camden Pals, and these teams, like, that's always been a thing, right? We always would wonder, why can we win in football on a youth level, but we never can win on a high school level? Like, that was always a thing. So, like, that's years and years of just it. Sometimes it becomes mental, and it's hard to win football games.
Always.
It's even harder to win football games when you have the ghost of the past on your back. Like,
and look, Bobby, it helps. Bobby does a great job, and Bobby goes there and he rules. Mm-hmm. And it's not, it's Bobby's way or the highway, and Bobby has the track record to do that, and he has the discipline. And he comes in there, and if you're not online or in line. Now we joked about a couple shows ago. He's gotten a little older, as we all have.
Loosened up a little bit,
but.
And he's got youth on the staff also.
Well, you need that, right? You need that. Yeah. You need a couple. We always say it's like Seinfeld. Every staff has the same darn guy on every staff. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's that guy who wears the shorts. Oh, that's that crazy offensive defensive line coach. Oh, that's the guy who doesn't say anything. That's, every guy's got the mirror image guy on the other side of the team, right? It's not right. And his staff, he does a good job knowing, puts the pieces together, puts the parts together, understand, it's a tough place. It's a tough place to coach, right? And
it's a tough place.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying.
And the last point I was going to get to is what you were talking about, writing about what happens. Mm-hmm. Camden fans are very, very knowledgeable about sports. We don't mind you getting on us, but it's like Mark said, sometimes it's the way that you do it, right? We like that. We like to be told we're not playing good. Yeah. I could remember on rides home, back with rest in peace, Coach Martin Sarton. He played for the Raiders. He played in the Canadian Football Leagues. And he would take me home, and he would say, "AT," they used to call me TV back then. "Hey, TV, man, you playing like crap. You trying to play, or you just want to be one of the guys." Mm-hmm. And that would stick to me. It's a certain way that you have to talk to guys. It's a very tough place. But at the end of the day, the kids, this group of kids stepped up, and they just ripped it off. So
yep. Yeah. And for that, and they call themselves the 26ers. Mm-hmm. The 26ers go down in Camden High School history. I mean, that's it. There's only one first time for everything. The first ever state championship football team in Camden history is the 26ers. Congratulations, Coach Hinson. Congratulations to Camden High and their fans. And I will say this. incredible year. We're going to wrap things up here after the break, but just remember this. 5 for 5 state finals, public school football, the best it has been, right? To do that. And the North Jersey parochials rule the roost. And a lot of kids from all over North Jersey go to those parochials. But I do want to remember this. There's parochials across the river that take many of the best kids in South Jersey.
Oh, yeah.
And also, I think in population, there's 6 times as many people in North Jersey as South Jersey.
Correct. And
So at some point,
and they pull from New York State, which has a
Right.
city in it that's pretty big too.
so what I will say is, I think the Publics should be pretty darn proud about their achievements, and I know they are. Again, congratulations, Glassboro High School, Group 1, Camden High School, Group 2, Cedar Creek High School, Group 3, Winslow Township High School, Group 4, and Group 5, Washington Township High School, state champions, clean sweep in the public schools. Stay tuned, everybody. The last segment of the year for the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show will be back right after this. The West Jersey Football Coaches Association was established to promote, improve, and unite football in South Jersey. In less than 4 years, the association created the Battle at the Beach and has dedicated itself to helping others. The association has donated close to $100,000 to date to provide scholarships through the National Football Foundation and the Touchdown Club of Southern New Jersey. The group has also donated to the charity Philly Faces, which helps those in need of facial reconstruction surgery. Thank you to the West Jersey Football Coaches Association for their sponsorship of the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show is also sponsored by Capstone Medical Services, a dedicated team of experienced healthcare professionals with a strong presence at the youth, middle school, high school, collegiate, and post-collegiate levels. They specialize in athletic training services and sports medicine for youth, high school, collegiate, and adult sports, event EMT and paramedic coverage for events and gatherings of all types and sizes, ensuring everyone's safety, injury prevention and workplace injury programs for commercial and industrial organizations, American Red Cross training, ideal for coaches, youth group leaders, church organizations, businesses of all sizes, and school districts. At Capstone, they are committed to delivering exceptional medical services that exceed expectations. No team will work harder or more passionately for you or your athletes. They proudly serve athletes of all ages, schools, businesses, and event organizers, ensuring the health and safety of every individual in every setting. Whether on the field, at work, or during special events, Capstone's here to protect, support, and serve because your safety is our top priority. To learn how Capstone Medical Services can support your school, organization, or event, call 855-EVENT-CMS or visit capstonemedicalservices.com. The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show is also sponsored by SRA Home Products. South Jersey, let me tell you about my friends over at SRA Home Products. SRA has been building sunrooms, pergolas, and patio covers for over 25 years. They've built more than 9,000 projects in the Delaware Valley alone. And I've had the opportunity to be around Mike Fody, the owner, and I have nothing but the best things to say about Mike and his crew. SRA is a gold accredited member of the Better Business Bureau under the elite provider status with Home Advisor, and they've racked up a number of Best of South Jersey awards in the past. They also contribute to multiple sport associations and are huge supporters of Williamstown football. Find them online at srahomeproducts.com.
Enthusiastic about football? Become a part of the NJFOA South Football Association and team up with us to officiate high school football. Join us on the field. Our cadet class kicks off in March. Register on our website or by scanning the QR code in this ad. Put the stripes on and join us on the gridiron today.
Welcome back, everybody, to the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. I mentioned a couple times on the broadcast, the Touchdown Club All South Jersey Banquet was Monday. I'm the president of the Touchdown Club, and I
Yes, you are.
feel like I would like to announce who our winners were of our awards. First off, Rowan University Player of the Year, Gianni Demero, a defensive lineman from Burlington Township. Sportsmanship Award went to Seneca High School. Unsung Hero Award, Xavier Gandia from Cherry Hill West. Scholarships were awarded to 4 scholar athletes, top scholar athletes on the All South Jersey teams. Those were Michael Bartasius of Shawnee, Stephen Davidson of Washington Township, Talib Shakur, previously mentioned, from Camden High, and Patrick Degnan of Seneca. Congratulations to you guys. And then our Service Award, the Herb Nealio Service Award, went to Francis Simpson. Coach Simpson passed away about a month ago, I think, or maybe 6 weeks ago, for his work that he did in his career in Paulsboro, Woodbury, and Ocean City as a youth coach, high school coach, etc. Francis Simpson got the Service Award. Our Offensive Back of the Year was Amari Sabb of Glassboro. Defensive Back of the Year, Jalen Robinson, Washington Township. Offensive Lineman of the Year, Philip Hatfield, Winslow Township. Defensive Lineman of the Year for the second consecutive year, Brandon Simmons of Glassboro. Special Teams Player of the Year, Jameson Hollander, Rancocas Valley. Player of the Year, overall Player of the Year, Jalen Parker, quarterback, Winslow Township. And Coach of the Year, Mike Schatzman, Washington Township. Congratulations to all of you, and thank everybody whose programs support the Touchdown Club. We appreciate it. Mac, the final best 11 of the year, as we always do at this point in time, we reveal what we got. Now, we stop this at the end of the regular season and say, forget about it, because at the end of the year, we get down to the nitty-gritty of how everything played out.
We got to get our committee room together. We're watching the games. We're big screens. We go back and rewatch some games.
Talk to Notre Dame's athletic director.
See if Pete says everything's okay.
We're going to start number 11, the Mainland Mustangs. Mainland, great season. Fell short in the sectional final. I'll give a shout out, of course, to Johnny Franchini. Very close to becoming just the second quarterback in South Jersey history to win 4 sectional titles. Of course, the first being Kevin Harvey at Paulsboro. Another good year for Coach Smith and company.
A team that, quite frankly, ifs and buts and coulds and shoulds, and that was basically I think the de facto state champ, like the winner. I thought
yeah,
Mainland could Creek goes on that run after they beat Mainland, so great season for them.
Number 10, St. Augustine Prep. I don't think anyone at St. Augustine would say 10 at the beginning of the year is up to the standard that they hope to have, but they had a heck of a year in terms of some of their top talent. You look at Cameron Greens going to Rutgers, offensive lineman, the biggest guy at the banquet, by the way. Damari Simeon going to make an impact for Ohio State. So St. Augustine comes in at number 10. Holy Spirit comes in at number 9. They finished the non-pub semis this year again. Ty Costabile had a great year at quarterback for the Spartans. At number 8, a team that found their footing late in the season, Millville, right? Lost in the sectional final to Winslow.
Correct.
Reggie Holly had a really nice year.
Young team.
Yeah, Robbie O'Connor played well at quarterback, and James Jones, and a team that I think they would say, if Shamar Collins played the whole year, what would it have been like for us? I mean, he was their top player coming into the season. He gets hurt in the scrimmage, out for the year. He's going to Eastern Michigan. Great kid, too. Brandon Simmons also going to Eastern Michigan. Good luck to the 2 of those guys. Eastern Michigan got a couple good ones. So Millville at number 8. At number 7, you have Atlantic City. Top seed in South Jersey Group 5. They lose the sectional final, but they are a team that I think when you kind of look down the road to next year, again, we know how quickly things can change, but in Group 5, Atlantic City is a team that I think the conversation may start up there for the Vikings at number 7. Number 6, the team that beat Atlantic City in that sectional final, Kingsway. Kingsway lost 3 games this year. They lost to Washington Township twice. They're the only team to play Washington Township within a score. Lost to them twice. Camden High, they lost to a game they probably feel they should have won 2 of those games.
Similar,
and those teams went on to win the state championship.
Right,
so.
right. Three losses to 2 state championship teams, and you talk about Millville. Hey, how about the Kingsway with their injuries in that game against Township? So who knows, as they say, but that's the way it goes. That's why the ball's shaped the way it is. Kingsway had a great season.
Kingsway, number 6. So we got 5 teams left. We had 5 state champs. So you can do the math on that, but we'll talk about the order right now. Number 5 is the Cedar Creek Pirates. We talked about how they came together at the end and really ran away with things. I couldn't be more impressed with their kids and their coaching staff and really getting to see them down the stretch. And, I was just impressed with them every which way. On the field execution, guys playing both ways and being great on both sides of the ball. And off the field. I mean, great kids.
Fun team
on
to
the
watch.
sideline.
I told you, first time I was ever at a Cedar Creek venue. Fantastic. Great.
Awesome
great
time. Place.
Yep.
And Cedar Creek, for the short amount of time it's been open, has an excellent history of football already. I mean, the sectional titles, the undefeated season.
Love their uniforms. Great
uniforms.
Great uniforms.
Great colors. NFL guys.
Yes.
Major college guys. So
dudes.
Cedar Creek at number 5. And number 4, Camden High, Group 2 state champs, beating Shabazz 27-8. A Camden High team that, the defense is always going to stand tall for Camden High. You look at the Mohammeds, right? You got Wasi, Helene, and of course Ibn, who's going to Syracuse. Guys that just make big plays. I look up front, Jerome Foster on the D line, Will Crisden, JoJo White on the offensive line, Duck in the backfield, Braxton in the backfield, Ahmad Jones. And that doesn't even include Shakur, who we talked about, who really was a linchpin for them. They were just very good. Once they got it together to click, they went on a run. I mean, beating Haddonfield the way they did in that state semifinal, and then taking care of business in the championship. And we mentioned in the last segment how much pressure was on them in that game from not necessarily from us, but just on themselves. And
correct.
To take care of business.
City and town pressure.
Absolutely. So Camden High at number 4. At number 3, Glassboro. They haven't lost in 2 years. They have a lot coming back next year. It's really been a remarkable run, and it's a team that, as great of a history as Glassboro has, and the star players that have come through there, this team has a special chapter in the Glassboro history books with Amari Sabb, and I wish him all the best in his next step. A kid that, as a midget football player, is one of the best midget players I've seen in my time seeing midget football. And it just continued to be the same way. The spin move he had in that championship was awesome. He took the hat home. The hat winners were him, King for Cedar Creek, Jalen Robinson, of course, Quade Hendricks, of course, and Shakur for Camden High. But Glassboro, 27 of their last 27, team to beat in Group 1. And number 2, Washington Township, undefeated state champs. I think 2-1 was really tough because those 2 were
dominant.
Really, really neck and neck. 2 excellent teams.
Great football.
They even have the same initials.
Great football teams. Township being 2. Who won is just the seasons they had. That's the game I'm sure a lot of folks want to see too. They love to see a Winslow Washington Township game. And both of those guys, you can't 1 and 1A, call what you want. You gotta, Township won them all. State champion in Group 5. Winslow had those early blips against
some juggernauts.
Yeah, some all Division I loaded, everybody on the team, D1 type kids. So great job by Township.
Number 1, Winslow Township, and I'm sitting here thinking as we're talking about it, and this may be wrong. But I don't know. Winslow, wire to wire, South Jersey Football Frenzy Show Best 11, number 1 this year, from the start to finish.
Yes.
Right? And I want to say they were number 2 heading into the Millville game last year, and Millville was number 1, I think. And then Winslow beat them. I think they've been number 1 in our best 11 since then.
Since the end of last year.
The middle.
Yeah, since week. Whatever,
I think so.
October, November of last year.
So they've been on the top of South Jersey. There's no question about it. Another team that, I think next year will be in the conversation again. Jalen Parker, again, set the state record in touchdown passes for his career. He's 30-3 as a starter. 30-1 against South Jersey schools, and he's got another year left.
He'll be back next year.
Yeah.
So that record
is
going to
put
be
it out of reach.
Out of reach. I mean, I think it'll eventually may be broken because it's more 7-on-7 and guys are learning how to pass more. However, he's putting that out.
Yeah. I mean,
it's up there.
You got you to do that. Someone who might break it one day has got to come in and start
as a freshman
on a good football team that's going to throw 30, 40 touchdown passes as a freshman.
Right.
Without he went 43 and 43, I think,
without
the last 2 years.
Staying healthy, keeping healthy. So,
yeah, he's definitely going to hold the record for a little bit. And ironically enough, now we're having this conversation. His first snap comes against Washington Township, right? Or the first snap I saw him take was at Washington Township. That game they lost on the Hail Mary. Comes in on 4th down and throws a touchdown pass and just like whatever.
Yeah.
And that's exactly how his demeanor's always been. And I'll say that he's the man. Yeah, he's pretty darn good. It's a pleasure to watch him play. It's a pleasure to watch all our South Jersey teams this year. You drive around, you go to all these games, it all wraps up, and the last 2 weeks are pretty hectic in terms of state finals, all South Jersey, blah, 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 blah. It's nonstop, right? And then you're like, well, here we are. This is it. And it's never a good feeling when we leave here for the last time of the year.
Trib, I'm sitting here, and I'm going to tell you, next season might be the first season of my life that I don't have skin in the game.
That's right.
I had 12 years of a son playing, 3 sons at Shawnee. I was coaching from 90 whatever till whatever. And my dad stopped coaching in 1995, and I was all sulking up from birth till 95. So, right? That's crazy. Think about it. I've had skin in every season since I was born. Like a relative, somebody playing or coaching somewhere. Crazy. So, I mean, look, you know me. I'll always be rooting for my favorites.
You can go to more games next year.
I can go to more games. I got a couple teams.
Although, it's worked out well for us over the years, though, because Shawnee plays a really tough schedule. So you see the best teams.
Yeah, I helped out the squad. I mean, look, I'll always go to my, some of my faves. I'll get to go see some other ones. I'll take it. If they don't play them on schedule, I'll be at a Camden High game or two, and and always get to see Shawnee play, being in the neighborhood, and And like I said, I got some of my favorites that I can take it now. I can get some eyes on. So crazy. I just it dawned on me
this is it.
Yeah. So I mean, there's another season left in football season's done, but
Of course, I got to shout out Chris Baker for all the work he's done on the show this year, providing stats, tracking them down, knots of the week, all that stuff. Rod, D2 Sports Network, Studio B, if you need anything in terms of recordings, podcast photos, anything. So I'm going to give it to you, Rod. Parting shots. Contact Rod. What do you got, man?
My last one is, we talked about before the playoffs. Mm-hmm. The question was, what happens if they all win? 5 for 5, what does that mean for South Jersey? And I think we kind of know what it means now. It kind of stamps that we are a football area. But in the parting words of my friend Fran Brown, winners get washed.
That's right.
We washed all of it off. Now everybody kind of knows South Jersey is a football town. or area
Well, everybody outside, right?
outside of the area.
We've had some. You mentioned Martin Sartin as one of your as your coach.
Yeah.
I saw Martin play
Yeah.
in the day. I mean, you talk about players. I mean, gosh.
Had some NFL coaches as some of my high school coaches.
Right?
Toddy McNair.
Yeah.
Kevin Ross.
I played for Todd's dad. I played with Scott. I mean, you talk about craziness.
Right.
I grew up watching Toddy.
Yeah.
It's seeing all these players, all the South Jersey players that we all know growing up throughout the years, back and all the way up until and they're still coming and they'll still be here and next year we'll be here sooner than we know and we'll be down the shore again watching the battle, eating some caramel popcorn and Battle of the Beach and some pizza, and we'll have the next generation of dudes and it's just getting better and better. Kids are getting more skilled, smarter football players.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully they continue to keep the toughness up, and it's great to watch.
Well, my last thing, man, to those players, I've been watching a lot of those guys since they were 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah.
The Sabs and some of the guys moving on. It's like you said, Coach. It's really a pleasure to watch these guys. When we see them young, we don't think about this day as them playing their last high school game and then going on to college, but it goes so fast. As I'm watching the other game the other night with Tarheeb Still and Jahai Campbell. I just was driving down into Carolinas and to Ohio with them in the van with me and laughing and joking, and boom, they're right on TV. So
right.
Players, parents just realize it goes fast, man. It definitely goes fast, but congratulations to everybody.
Of course, got to give a shout out to Steph, Tracy, my beautiful fiance Melissa, for letting us get together once a week here and holding it down.
Letting the goofballs.
Of course, and it's you go through the course of the year and you get and Rod, I know you brought this up to me before many times. People who say, thanks for doing the show. Thanks for all your coverage. There's even people in here now commenting, you guys, thanks so much for doing this. And it's my pleasure. I this is not anything I do because it's what I want to do. Like, it's awesome.
Right.
And it's what we love. It's what we love to do. So that's what I want people to know is, thank you for your comments. It does mean the world, but also know that we love it so much doing this show and being involved, and we love South Jersey football. And on a year like this year, you can't help but walk out of those stadiums or turn off your stream or whatever, and you're driving down the road and thinking, 5 state championships out of 5 for South Jersey. It means the world that happens because we care so deeply about the sport in this area.
Right, a lot of pride, a lot of teams, a lot of schools pulling for that 5 for 5. So that was great to see as well, no doubt.
Yeah,
good stuff.
It's just awesome. So thank you all because, I'm not going to get misty-eyed, but thank you all, and I hope everyone has a happy holiday season. We will be back here again next year doing the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show.
Yeah, and we feel a little of this vibe. I know Rod, I know he thinks otherwise, but you know what? I think we got with the Schwarb signing, 5 years, 30, back in business. I see Chris talking pitchers, catchers. Got the Hoosiers going a little run. Hoosiers in the Rose Bowl, Rod. That's crazy.
That was sick.
Yeah.
Hoosiers in the Rose Bowl. If you can't play Ohio State in the championship, right?
Yeah, they can. They're on different sides of the bracket.
If Indiana and Ohio State play in the national championship, we might have to have a South Jersey Football Frenzy preview show
from Miami.
I'm going to sit back there where Rod sits. From Miami. Rod's going to sit right here.
Rod, we'll do it we'll do it from on location.
Oh yeah, that'd be good.
Miami. We'll be in front of the Cleveland. We'll be in front of the Cleveland. They're in Miami.
Yeah, I like it. Right on the beat.
Oh man, good
Again,
stuff.
On the beat.
Thank you, sponsors. Thanks, fans. Thanks, coaches, players, administrators, everything. Thank you, Rod. Thank you, Coach. For the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show, I am Mark Tribble. We will see you next year. Have a happy holiday season.
Be safe.
It's kind of hard pushing the finish button. But.
Yeah, I know. It hurts.